Hey guys, it's been a while. Let's talk about the details that get lost um in the news, or what the news doesn't tend to report on that they probably should get reported on. That they should be reporting on, I should say. All right. My first article that I chose to feature was the one that talks about it's called Restorative Justice Turns Violent Schools Around. It talks about um the John Paul Jones Middle School that was known for being very violent because they had security everywhere. They were notorious for their amount of security that they required to get into the school. And then when you know, they re they remodeled the school, they took all the security out and they decided to, treat the students differently. Like they changed the way they prosecute students in the case that they misbehaved or whatever, and it ended up being very positive. Most people stopped fighting. They reduced fighting by 80% or something like that. I can't find where it was in the article, but yeah, so they had great results from that. And the main reason I think that they didn't want to report that, well, okay, I'll list a couple reasons actually. First of all, it wasn't sensational enough to report about something like that because it's positive, which is kind of sad to say, but a lot of news sources now will only focus on something super negative or something super sentimental that will evoke a strong emotional reaction out of people. And yeah, and also things that kind of play into our idealized notions of what is going on in the world, or an idealized notion of what the world is. And I feel like this story didn't play off of that. Um, you know, 85%, I mean, like a majority of the country doesn't live in, dangerous areas. Most people aren't afraid of their middle school or whatever, but we like to believe that people in, urban areas and certain areas of urban communities are dangerous. And I believe this story is like a great story to be told because it doesn't play into that. It shows that these people are great, or like normal people, just like us. It's just that when they got treated like animals, they got treated like criminals. They acted like criminals. If you see if you see guards and you have to get patted down every day before you go to school, that's gonna make you an angry person and it's gonna make you act out. And I think that what the people did in that school by changing everything and making it more easy, you know, by treating people like humans, they acted like normal humans, basically. Um, and I think a reason that it didn't get reported was because a lot of people are afraid of change, and um, they kind of it's hard for them to imagine that change can actually be good. So yeah. Then what are the perils of underreporting these topics? I believe that not reporting this means that people don't understand the potential that this neighborhood has. Um, and then not reporting this furthers the stereotype that dangerous neighborhoods are inhabited mostly by dangerous people, and that the school these kids go to is a dangerous place to be. I think that's something that shouldn't be overlooked at all. Um, all right, then the second story I had was on the story that talked about the ocean getting more acidic and negative repercussions that has on the world. Um, Here's some reasons that I kind of thought it would be like a hard thing to talk about in the mainstream news. First of all, it's like a difficult thing to change. People would really have to, change their lifestyle all around the world, basically, for it to significantly change. We have to change the way, you know, we need to just reduce our carbon emissions dramatically before we could really change that. And that kind of thing is scary for people. I feel like they don't want to, especially in like really privileged areas, like the majority of the United States, where we're comfortable. We're very comfortable, so we don't want to change the way we live on our day-to-day lives. We're not used to change. Most people do the same thing every single day. You tell them to like ride your bike to work instead of drive. They're gonna lose their minds. They don't want to do that at all. Um, and I also think I know there's a um, basically corporations don't want. That's the easiest way to say it. Corporations have financial reasons to not want people to know about this because whether it means they have to change the way they produce, you know, stuff like that. It'll hurt them potentially, and they don't want people to know about it for that very reason. And then what are the perils of underreporting these topics? If people don't know what's happening, then they don't know what to change, obviously. So I think by not reporting this, it's like a huge problem happening, like a very serious environmental disaster potentially that could happen, and no one knows about it, pretty much, you know. Um, and then also, obviously, the ocean will get more acidic. More animals will die. You know, the animals that live off of those animals will die eventually because they don't have food, obviously. And then, people who live off of food from the ocean will die. And there's just tons of reasons why all of that is terrible. So I think this definitely should be a topic that is discussed more often. All right, that's all I have. Thank you very much.